You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it, from the Islamic perspective. I'm Yusuf Estes, and this is Islam Newsroom. You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom, and this is our weekend update. Today, more than ever before, Muslims around the world are forced to tune into the news to find out what's really going on. And in order for us to find out, we turn to Islam Newsroom. In today's news, the news that we know, we want to find out one of the most important things for us is how to live in this life a little bit better than what we've found in the past. In order to do that, one of the things we want to overcome is some addictions that we Muslims have been suffering from for all too long. Around the world, in the European countries, in the UK, Canada, Australia, here in America, of course, we find organizations ready to help people to overcome various addictions. The addiction to drugs, of course, is one of the number one that people talk about. Some of the others don't get as much attention. The addiction to gambling, for instance, unless you live in Las Vegas or Atlantic City, you don't hear a whole lot about it. The addiction to pornography is something that you don't hear a lot about because people are a little bit shy, even afraid to talk about it. The addiction to smoking, cigarettes, cigars, dipping snuff, chewing tobacco, this is something we hear a lot about. We even heard a big promotion all about substituting these nicotine-free electronic cigarettes or something like this. Now we find out that, in fact, they really aren't that effective. In fact, some people just use them in places where they can't smoke the other kind of cigarette just until they can get outside and go back to puffing away on the regular cigarettes. We've run a number of articles about smoking on Islam Newsroom. Today, we found a 10-step cure. It's not really a cure, it's more of an awareness that will help you to get through it and maybe even get over it. But we want the Muslims to comment about it. And that's one of the beautiful things about Islam Newsroom, that you can give us your feedback. A little later in the program, I'm going to be telling you about something that is super about that. But let's go forward now, and let's talk about stopping smoking. This is so new, you can see it's never even been rated yet. We just put it up. Take a look. I called it this 10-step cure, but it's not really a cure, as I said already. First of all, what is the addiction to smoking? What's it really about? Here's the article. I'm not going to read it to you. You're going to read that yourself. Nicotine replacement therapy. I was just talking about that and why it does not work. And what about the mindset? And what are some of the things? Let's start point number one, our children. Whether you have children or not, whenever you're around anybody, especially children, and you're puffing away on that cigarette, you are jeopardizing not only your own health, but the health of those youngsters. And in Islam, anytime you take away people's rights and expose them to diseases, expose them to addiction, expose them to something that can hurt their bodies, that's haram. Absolutely haram. And secondhand smoke is a very famous promoter of cancer in our young people. So watch out. We talked about some of the other things. Loneliness. Smoking causes a type of isolation that affects our relationships with our friends, our buddies, our partners. And we find that we're going to be compartmentalized and put off to the side with other people who only thing we have in common with them is that they smoke too. In other words, other addicts. Now, some of you are saying, oh, this is no big deal. Okay, Maybe to you it's not. But to me, personally, it is a big deal, and I'm going to tell you why. I have an allergy to cigarette smoke. Not burning leaves doesn't bother me. I don't like to smell that marijuana stuff cooking. That stinks. Makes me sick. But cigarette smoke will actually give me a problem. So yes, I am one of those people who say I'm all for banning it in all public places. Okay, now listen up. Take a look at this. By the way, I didn't write this whole article, just added some commentary. It said a house that smells like stale tobacco is very unpleasant, and the environment there is not conducive to the upbringing of youth. The smoker ignores all of this, but eventually the non-smoking friends, hello, are going to be less and less impressed. And it won't be long before they're going to be saying, you know what, let's don't go over there, okay? What about respect for others? Now, this is not written by Muslims. Now, keep this in mind. I want you to think about it. Does Islam command us to have respect for other people? Yes or no? Are we, you and I, supposed to have respect for other people? Do they have rights? Do other people have the right to have the regular fresh air to breathe? And when you light that cigarette, you're not giving them their rights. And when you, especially guys, whenever you light up in a restaurant, come on. How really crude is that? And I don't find smokers, non-Muslims, doing that near as much as I find from Muslims. And when you're going out the door, you think, well, you know, I can go ahead and light up because I'm going out the door. What does that mean? You're not out the door yet. You're still standing by the cash register, puffing away. And then what? So you're leaving, so nobody can say anything to you, ha, ha, ha. But what about the smoke you left behind? And you say, well, it wasn't that much. When somebody has an allergy, any of it's too much. Ask somebody that's allergic to peanuts. Ask them. If they just eat a cookie that has a little bit of peanut butter in it, what will happen to them? Ask them. It's a very serious thing. So when people have allergies, and there are a lot of people that have allergies to cigarette smoke. And by the way, would you like to know why? Because there are chemicals in that cigarette to make people addicted. There are things in the cigarette intended to addict you. That's why they put it in there. That's why they don't mind putting those warnings on there. Come to find out, the warnings on the cigarette packages don't deter anybody except somebody who didn't want to smoke anyway. Think about it. These manufacturers are happy to put it on there. You know why? Because they say that it actually causes people to want to do it anyhow. Think about it. Anyway, I want to come to this one, point number 3. So the smoker gets oblivious to the effect that it has on other people. And he acts in a self-righteous way as though he is in the right and everybody else is picking on him. Almost like a conspiracy theory. Self-esteem. Let's go to number 4. Self-esteem. The smoker gets selfish and pretends to ignore what their habit is doing to their friends or family. But deep down, they are aware about their self-centered addiction. Smoke and smoking takes over your life. And obviously it's going to lead to a lack of self-esteem. You don't have a confidence in yourself. And listen to this. Conclusive evidence shows that getting back your self-esteem, your self-respect, and ending this constant, almost like secret misery, should be an incentive strong enough to get you to quit. Maybe it will. I want comments on this. By the way, I didn't put this up here for just entertainment. Health. Does your body have rights on you? Huh? Huh? Well, you can see where my comments are coming in here. Your body has rights on you. Allah will ask you on Yawm al-Qiyamah, how did you take care of that body that He gave you? Just take a look. There's normal lungs on the left and smoker's lungs on the right. Let's blow it up where you can see it a little bit bigger. Here we go. What does this say to you? Look at it. Those are real lungs. When a smoker gets sick, the nicotine becomes his fix. It's his buddy. It's his comforter. Almost like a wali for him. All right, let's go to number 6, self-control. And here's my comment, of course. Fasting. What is fasting if it's not self-control? Tell me. Allah can put the cure in the fasting for you. He can do that. You know, it all starts when people think they're acting grown up. They want to be part of the in crowd. They want to join their buddies, their peer groups, and oh, I'm so big, I'm so proud of me, I can smoke. Wow. You can also jump off a bridge. What does that make you? I mean, think about it. What you're doing is that you're exposing yourself and others to these chemicals that will alter the hardwire in your brain. Think about what I'm telling you right now. Little comment at the end, a positive thinking, constantly saying out loud, I do not need to smoke, can help overcome the initial cravings. Okay, I'm going to give you something higher than this one. These are not my comments. I'm just adding to it. Listen to me. A statement with a negative in it is not as effective on the inner subconscious as a positive statement. Saying, I need to smoke will not be canceled out by saying, I don't need to smoke, I don't want to smoke, because these are negative. Hear that, don't, won't, not. Hear that? That's called negative. Don't use that. Don't use a negative. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's change that. Use a positive. Cigarettes taste bad to me. Try that. Cigarettes taste bad to me. Cigarettes make me sick. Cigarettes taste bad to me. Cigarette smoke stinks. Cigarette smoke stinks. Try that. Just say that. And suddenly you'll start realizing, you know what, these are true statements. Hello. Nobody is born with a craving for cigarettes, maybe unless their mother was an addict herself. But it's not a natural thing. The natural inclination for all life form is to get away from a fire. Get away from a fire. What about the energy? Did you know that the metabolism in your body is reduced over time by the smoke? And your ability to keep up with the pace, just going throughout the day, is going to be limited and restricted. The more you smoke, the less you can do. And if you said, well, I can do more than most of the people around me, then I'm wondering, who are the people around you? What are they addicted to? And then also, if you said, well, I'm still way ahead of everybody else, what about this? Think about where you would be if you weren't smoking. Just asking you to think about these things. Time. Here's a good one for you. Does Islam teach us that we have to be responsible for our time? Huh. That's what being on this earth is all about. From the time we're born until the time we die, right or wrong. Allah is going to ask us, what did you do with that time? It's one of the major things going to be asked about on the Day of Judgment. What did you do with your time? What did you do with your wealth? And what did you do with your health? And all of these things are related right here to what? Addictions of various kinds. And we're only talking about smoking right now. But certainly it also puts you in the proximity of other addictive sources like alcohol, like drugs, like gambling, and like pornography, because you're hanging out with the same kind of people with the same kind of problems. And if you think I'm overdoing it, then you really need to rethink your position. You really need to think about it. What are you doing? You're spending your time, your health, your wealth. We're going to come to that in a minute. You have more precious time when you don't have this addiction. Staying away from stopping everything, run to the store, get the cigarettes, and oh, hey, let's go to number 9. Let's talk about the money. These are tobacco prices. They converted these from British pounds to sterling over to United States currency at the time of the writing of this. So it may not be exact today. But they said as the price of tobacco is going up, it becomes harder and harder for us to get the money to pay for it. And some people are falling in debt largely because of their habits. Check this out. An average of 20 a day, ex-smoker. Listen to this. He saves about $12 a day. What? That's right. And that's 85 a week. 335 a month, $4,000 a year. If somebody put $4,000 in your hand right now, what would you do with it? And I know how many people have told me, and I've been in the masajid, I've been in the madrasas, I've been in so many places with the Muslims and heard them say, oh, I wish I had money. I would like to support this good effort, this Quran school, these children, they're doing so much, oh, mashallah, and these teachers, we'd like to help them out. Oh, I'd love to help them put in a new mimbar over here because that rickety one, the old one we've got, I'd like to help them put in the wudu area and get the reward for all these people. I'd like to do all of these things, but I don't have the money. But you're smoking cigarettes, that's $4,000 a year or more. Or more. Tell you what I want you to do. I want you to do something. If you think I'm wrong, all I want you to do is this. Estimate the cost of one cigarette. Find out, okay, how many are in a pack? What does a pack cost you? Be honest. And find out what that one cigarette costs, okay? And every time you light up, take the equal amount of money that you would spend on that cigarette and put it in a little can or a little jar, something over there. And I want you to do that for 1 month, just 1 month. I don't want you to touch it. I don't want you to take anything out of it, but you light and then you deposit. Got it? If you light, deposit the equal amount for what you're spending on cigarettes. Because if what you say is true, that it's no big deal if you're not spending that much, well, then it won't be that much for you to set aside that much, will it? So do it. Do it. At the end of the month, after 30 days, I want you to count it and see how much is in there. Then I want you to take that down to your masjid, and I want you to donate it. All of it. Then do the same the next month and the next month. And if you feel like that's a bit of a burden, cut back on the cigarettes. But don't cut back on the donation. Think about that. Think what you could do and the reward you would get with Allah. Let's go to the number 10 and take a look at this. The quality and length of your life. You think it's not serious? On Yawm al-Qiyamah, it's going to be one of the most serious things that you're going to have to face. What did you do with your time? What did you do with your money? What did you do with that body that Almighty God gave you? Now, let's don't forget that your body is going to testify against you on the Day of Judgment. The ears will say, do you know what he made me listen to? The eyes will say, do you know what he made me look at? The hand will say, do you know what he made me do? What we did? The feet will say, do you know where he made me walk to? And then, in one narration, we know that even your skin is going to testify against you on the Yom Kippur. Now, what about your lungs? What about your trachea? Your throat? Your stomach? And God forbid, may Allah keep all of us away from it, but if you get cancer, or you give cancer to somebody else through your smoking, what's going to happen? On the day of judgment, you will be in deep trouble. Brothers and sisters, this is not a small matter. This is not something where you can say, well, it's my business what I do. It is not, because you're affecting everybody. You're affecting your own life, your own health, your own wealth, and you're affecting all of the people around you, because everybody is affected by everybody else to some degree in this life. All of us, we are one body. Yes or no? Yes or no? Did our Prophet ﷺ tell us that we, as a ummah, we are one body, and if one part of that body feels pain, the whole body suffers. So what are you doing? How did you think that you somehow are above everybody else? How did you think that you could get away with this thing that you're doing? How? I want you to do something now, guys. Listen to me. I want you to go to this page. This is the #1 article. It's number 2414. You can see it right up here. That's the article number right there. I want you to go, I want you to read it, I want you to think about it. Then go down the page. By the way, if you click on this where it says donate to Islam, it'll take you out of here and take you to donate to Islam. So that's not what we're talking about. You can click on that big F, that's Facebook. On the bird, that's the Twitter. You could tweet. You can email it to somebody else. You can print this out. And then there's a number of other places where you can share, whether it's on Gmail, Tumblr, Google, and so on. It's all right here for you. But down here below, I want you to see this. Put your name in there. Okay? Put your email up here next. Your website. If you want to. If you have a website. If you don't need to do that. Then down here, if you want to put something, you can put something on here. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for the reminder. If you want, put whatever you want to. Then look down here. You see it says 2N2G7, all right? 2N2G7. Now what that does, every time you leave something, a comment, it'll give you some other twisted numbers. It's a security measure. Then you click on it. Said I didn't do it right. Well, that's good. ZAUXN. Let's see if I did any better here. Yeah. Now if you look up here, see where it says it? Thank you. Your comment will be published once reviewed. All right? So that is our article about how to overcome this one particular addiction, is to learn more about it in the real sense. It's not that we need to know how many micro whatever is in the cigarette. We don't need to know about the fact that they use pork blood in the filters for some of the cigarettes. We don't care about that. I really don't. You know what we care most about? We care about the bigger picture, the effect that this is having on others. If you ate pork, if you ate khanzir, you would be affecting yourself only. True or false? But smoking is affecting you, your time, your health, your family, your children, your friends, the people around you. And wallahi, brother, if you thought that nobody knows you're a smoker, we all smell it on your clothes when you come in the masjid. All of us, and we know you're the last guys in because you're standing out there puffing, run up in the back line, and anybody prays in that back line knows about that smoke and smell. And you're the first ones to run out after Jummah so you can light up again. Now, is that a reality check? Now, how many of you are mad at me right now? Are you really mad at me? Because if you're mad at me, I'm sad for you. Because it was not easy for me to sit here and talk to you so hard like this. But I love you, and I care about you. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. All of us are one ummah. I want the best for you. I want the best for your family. Please, brothers, sisters, pay attention to this subject. Let's work on this, will we, please? Do it for Allah. Ask Allah to help you. Cry to Allah in your salah. Ask Allah to take this away from you. Say, Allah, take this away from me. I don't want this. Allah, take it away. Allah, Allah, help me. Allah will help you. May Allah make it easy for you. Allah cure you of this addiction. Ameen. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. We say, as always, get guided with Guidance TV. Stay right there.
Get guided. Oh, Guidance TV.
Welcome, Sheikh Yusuf Estes and the newly converted Muslims.
MashaAllah. Newly converted Muslims. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Oh, I love this. And you can watch it anytime if you just get the apps. The free apps for iPhones, iPads, also the smartphones. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The smartphones and the Android phones, you'll be able to do it real easy, and it is free, and you can watch it anytime. Wa alaikum salam. We're about ready to give some more shahadas, and you can join us. You can also help donate. Donate online at guideus.tv. Yeah, guideus.tv/donate. Allahu Akbar. And you can be helping these people get to Islam too. Ah, Allahu Akbar. Allah gives the hidayah. He guides the people with Guide Us TV.
Get guided. Oh, Guidance TV.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. We are back with Weekend Update. I want to talk to you now about another subject, a subject which is very important to all of us, and especially to our moms, our wives, our daughters. That is the subject of how to name a baby. How do we name a baby? What's that all about? Let's take a look. I want to go to that subject right now. Let's take a look right here. This is kind of a fun thing, but at the same time, there's something about this in Islam we need to know. How about naming our baby? The Muslim Arabic baby names. And this is our official page for Arabic Muslim names. It says for girls, but we got girls and boys coming up. Take a look. Is it going to be a girl? What is it? It's a Muslim baby. Yeah. So congratulations, you're going to have a baby, mashallah. But you want to know about the Arabic or the Muslim names, right? Of course. And then, of course, we put Guidance TV in there because we want you to know to start early, letting them listen to the Quran on Guidance TV. To keep our kids pure in heart and away from bad stuff. I'm going to give a little plug right now for Guidance TV. I want you to do that. So for the boys, we have the names. For the girls, we have the names. But before you go anywhere, hold on. Read this important information. Listen to me closely now. there are no official Muslim names. As much as we've put effort into developing the names on our website, because we know a lot of people want to go there and we want them to find the names which are good, which you will like, which you will benefit maybe, but we want to mention things to stay away from. But more important to know is there's no such thing as official Muslim names. Although it's very understandable if you want to use a name like Abdullah, slave of God, Amatullah, which is the female equivalent of that, Abdurrahman, Nuruddin, light of the religion. These are names that Muslims use, but it doesn't mean that if I don't have a name like that, that I can't be a Muslim, does it? So there are many types of names that were already in use before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came. And listen carefully. He never ordered anybody to change their name unless their name had a bad connotation. If they had a bad connotation. Now, he very frequently would nickname people with things that he liked, like Abu Huraira. He said that about Abu Huraira. Was Abdurrahman bin Sakhr was his actual name. Did you know that? Yeah. But Prophet ﷺ saw him playing with a kitten one time, Huraira. So he said, look how he plays around with it, keep it inside of his, not coat, they didn't have coats, they had on like an upper garment, kind of like a big towel, okay? And he had it in there, and he said, oh, so you're the father of this kitten, so I'm going to call you Abu Huraira. And that name stuck. Everybody today knows Abu Huraira, but Muslims, you know. But if you said Abdurrahman bin Sakhr, they'd be like, who's that? That's his real name. And Abdurrahman is one of the top names. Prophet ﷺ said the best of names to give to your children is Abdullah and Abdurrahman. But he called him Abu Huraira. Did you see that? Did you catch the meaning behind this? Although these are good names to name your children, it doesn't mean if you don't have that, that the child is going to be any less in anybody's estimation. So I wanted to clear up that little thing right there. Also, the Arabs had a custom, and now this was something they used to do, which is very wrong. It's a superstition. They used to name their children names that they didn't want them to have that characteristic. Khadija was the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. Khadija, do you know what it means? Do you think it means a beautiful lady in paradise? Although she is. The meaning of it is a child that's born prematurely. Huh? It's what it means. Khadija means a child born prematurely. He didn't tell her she had to change her name, did he? No. So before you get into it too far, talk to some of the scholars of the Arabic, the real scholars. I'm not talking about somebody that just took a course, a quick course off of my website to learn Arabic and English. I'm talking about real scholars. And then what you'll find out is that some of these names that they had needed to be changed because they were so bad because of this superstition. Name them the opposite of whatever, and then it won't happen to them, okay? So, as a matter of fact, that is one of the examples we gave here, isn't it? Khadija is an example of the custom. It means an aborted child or a premature child born before the full term of gestation. That's what it means. So just because you find a word in the Quran, by the way, doesn't mean that it's a good word to use for a kid. Think about that. Matter of fact, many of the names that are in use today about around the world, all about, in the Muslim world, are actually not in line with this Islamic teachings. They're not. So I want you to think about that. With that in mind, we want to expose here some of the names we've been told have meanings for girls in Arabic, although in many cases you will see they're not Arabic at all, like Afaf, chaste or pure, Aisha, alive, Aliyah, high status, eminence, Amina, at peace or fearless, Arwa, feminine of Wa'al, the beautiful and radiant. Asma, elegance, loftiness. Basma, happy expression. Juwaria, the Prophet's wife. Rahman, mercy, compassion. Rania, fixed gaze. Razan, dignified. Reem is a white gazelle. Sarah, heartfelt joy. Shema, spelled two different ways. Virtuous. Zainab, a perfumed tree. They give you a little taste for it. Now, with the boys' list of names that we've got right here, you can click on this and see so many. Let me just give you a sample. We're not going to go through them all because when you figure out how big this is, you might think twice before you want to spend all day going through it. There's the Arabic, the meaning, the pronunciation in the English language, all the way down. And we're just now in the B's, still in the B's, now the D's. You see how long it is? I'm going to scoot down to the bottom. And then we go back to some more over here, the Abduls. Abdul Hakim, Abdul Halim, Abdul Hamid, Abdul Hanan, Abdul Haq, Abdul Hasib, Abdul Jabbar, Abdul Jalil, Abdul Jawad, Abdul Kabir, Abdul Kareem, Abdul. See all the Abduls? Then more names, Ahmed, Amir, Amin, and see on and on and on and on. And if you think you are almost done, keep going because there's more, and you can get down to the bottom of this and click for the girls' names, and this will take you now down to back where we were, and now look at the girls' names. So we have a lot. Wait, that's a little too big. There we go. There you go. Now, the master list. See this? Look at this. So we got a lot of names here, but we tried to be sure that there wasn't anything bad in the list. I went over it personally myself after we got done with the Arabic side. I went back through and looked through the English side, and hopefully we gave you the best of the choices there. But by the way, before we go any farther, I want to share something with you. I might surprise you when I tell you this, but did you know when it comes to the names, and when it comes to the clothes, and when it comes to all of the things that we're thinking are such a big deal, we have to dress like a Muslim, look like a Muslim, speak like a Muslim, I should mess up my English a little bit so I have sort of an Arabic accent. No, come on guys. Think about this. Ali radiallahu anhu, the cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the very first to accept Islam, and certainly one of the greatest of the khulafa that ever lived. He's a great and wonderful man. What was his name when he was born? What was his name when he made Shahada? It's the same name, Ali. The only nickname the Prophet ﷺ gave him, well, I won't say the only one that I know, is when he called him Abu Turab. He called him the father of dust because he was laying down flat on his stomach in the dirt, and he was joking with him. He called him the father of dust. So what is this in the name thing? What I'm trying to get across is some people come to Islam, and the first thing they hear is you have to change your name. Somebody's name might be Fred or George. Somebody's name might already be Sarah. And that's a Muslim name as well, isn't it? Muslims use the name. Some of these names, maybe you didn't know this, are very famous amongst the Jewish. Sarah is one of them. Yusuf is one of them. True or false? Yeah. And I want to ask you now on another subject, just to touch base on this subject. We're talking about names and making people change their names. When they come to Islam, unless their name is bad, let them alone. And even then, talk to them along with a knowledgeable person so that you don't make a mistake and say the wrong thing. Let them get into Islam and learn about Tawheed. Don't bug them with this thing, because you might be wrong. There's more. What about the clothing? Now I'm on another subject. This is not the article that we got up here, but I'm on this subject. I want you to think about this. the clothes that I got on right now. Is there something wrong with these? Of course, this part is a thobe. It goes all the way down to my ankles. But what if it was just a short shirt? And I'm wearing this European style. I hope I didn't mess up my microphone. I'm wearing this coat. And what if I have a tie on? I don't like ties. But if I liked ties, I would wear one. Because there's nothing wrong with a tie. And if you said, this is the clothes of the kuffar, whoa, whoa, stop right there. I'm going to ask you a question. What were the clothes of Abu Lahab? And what were the clothes of Abu Jahl? Abu Lahab is mentioned in the Quran as being in the fire, and his wife being in the fire, carrying the wood for him to be burning. It says that in the Quran. Abu Lahab, right before the Surah Ikhlas. So we know these people been by Allah condemned to the fire for their evil ways and the murderous things that they did. Now, what kind of clothes did they wear? Huh? Abu Jahl, the father of ignorance, the Prophet ﷺ gave him that nickname. What kind of clothes did he wear? And when Walid came to Islam, you remember Khalid bin Walid, when he came to Islam, he was the biggest enemy. He was a military expert against the Muslims, but he came to Islam and was a military expert against the non-believers. Did he change his clothes after he got to Islam? No. What Islam wants us to change is not our names, not our clothes. You don't have to have a big turban on your head to be a Muslim. In fact, that takes us away from the essence of real Islam. What Islam wants us to do is to change the way we think and the way we act to be better. Take the good that a person already has, enhance it, accentuate it, and bring it up, bring it forward, and increase it. Izzah. This is what Islam is about. Izzah. Izzah. Raise it up. Make it better. You have a good characteristic in yourself or a person coming to Islam, somebody in your family, accentuate that. Say, oh, you do a good job with that. Maybe this person, they don't do very much good, but one thing they do really good, they wash dishes really good. They're the best at washing dishes, or the best at taking care of the yard, or the best at taking care of the car. Maybe whatever this thing is, accentuate that. Give them reinforcement. Give them approval. Validate what they're doing that's good. Play down the bad stuff. Don't be a big thing about, oh, you did this and you did that, you made a mistake. One tiny word really is enough. A tiny word is enough. Because then what happens, if you're too much on that, putting people down, you know what happens? They build a resistance. They don't take your advice. They build a resistance and they become defensive. They're on the defensive because you put them down and now they're ready for, no, I'm this way, I didn't do that, I said, and they become worse. You didn't help them. When somebody's coming into Islam, leave them alone about their name. Leave them alone about their clothes. Leave them alone about their job. Leave them alone. Just encourage the good. What is the good? La ilaha illallah. Teach them about Allah. Let them know and understand the value, the beautiful value of believing correctly. How it puts your mind at ease. There's a God, one only. You worship Him on His terms. God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Best. Finish. Khalas. That's it. Leave it alone. He's got that. He's studying that. Let it go. After he has that, then talk to him about salawat. Talk to him about his connection with Almighty God. You know there's a God now. You're sure of it. You're no doubt. You're ready. You want to have a good connection with him, don't you? You want to do it on his terms, right? You're excited about that, right? Okay, come on, guys. We got just the story for you. Take a look at this. How can you get closer to your God? How can you have a connection, a rope that will never break? وَأَعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold tight to the rope of Allah, all of you together, جَمِيعًا, together, and don't separate. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Let them see that rope. That rope is our ibadah, our worship. Coming together as a united group, standing in prayer, bowing in prayer, prostrating in our salah, and mashallah, thinking about Allah, knowing that all these people have a chance to be forgiven by Allah. All of them have a chance to go to paradise. Yeah, that's positive thinking to the max, isn't it? I want you and me to have the best life here and hereafter. How are we going to do that if we don't do it this way? Strive for what's right and righteous. Isn't that what Islam is teaching us? Isn't that the ultimate maruf? Calling people away from what will put them in hellfire. Get them away from the ultimate munkar. And one of the munkars is backbiting, slandering people, putting people down, picking on people, finding their faults, instead of what? Looking for the good that they do. Oh, Yusuf Estes, he made this mistake, he did this, he did that, he did so. Oh, so what? Maybe he did something good. Let's look for his good thing. Maybe he did something good. Oh, look what he did. He washed the dishes today. And he didn't even break any. Well, that's it. Because if you emphasize the good that people do, they want to do more to hear you say more. That's natural inclination. If you put them down, constantly put them down, you'll find them do more things just so they can get back at you. True or false? The teenagers today are a proof of what I'm telling you right now. Now we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to tell you something very exciting about our teens, about our youth, and what we're going to do for our youth very soon. Stay right there. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Yusuf Ad-Daghush. I'm a Quran reciter and a Quran teacher, also an Imam and director of the Quran school at Islamic Center of San Gabriel Valley, California. Alhamdulillah. Do we need Guidance TV? Yes, we do. We really need people to understand this beautiful religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. And through this channel, people will understand, and God will open their hearts and understand the real message. This channel will tell you the real thing about Islam. You're not gonna go. Someone else is not Muslim. He's gonna tell you about Islam. You have to go to the right person, and this is the right channel to watch and listen and open your heart to understand this beautiful religion. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Get guided with Guide Us TV.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, we are back with the update, the weekend updates for us here on Islam Newsroom, what it is and what it's all about. I wanted to call your attention to something, and I need to save this. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to put it on the front page so we can find it easy. And then, let's see if we got it on here. Yeah, here it is. This is a template. This is not, it's not actual dates on here. I just want to show you something for our youth. It's a free youth conference. Now this one has dates and things on it, but this was last year. But we've got a bigger one this year. This was the Only God Conference, okay? The One and Only God Conference. We had it in Astoria and we had it in Patterson, New Jersey. It was a free conference and it was fantastic. The Only God, basic problem solved, learn to listen, KISS, keep it super simple, solution comes in cans. Listen to this, solution comes in cans. You know what I mean? No, not the kind of can you open with a can opener. I can do it. You can do it. We can do it. We can, if Allah wills, inshallah. So that was something we really worked on very hard. We had Christians who came and participated, and they really enjoyed the programs. We had parents, teachers that came out, and we had a close relationship with some of the non-Muslims who later became Muslims or are still looking and thinking. We said debate brings the hate. Debate brings the hate. People today are not really into debates from a positive standpoint. It's very, very wrong the way it's being done. Then we talked about Shake Google, share if you care. We talked about the social environments. We had secrets of viral videos, how to get your videos up there and help others to get them up there, number one. And then we had a program for converts, reverts, and we talked about some of the things I just spoke to you about not telling people they have to change their names, not telling people they have to come out here wearing these strange clothes and acting strange or getting in some kind of military outfit and thinking they're going to go off somewhere and kill people. That's not Islam. Never was Islam, never will be Islam, and we are very much against this kind of an operation. It does not represent our faith. It doesn't represent what we believe. It's the very opposite, okay? Now, why I'm telling you about a conference that we already had is because we have a new conference that's coming up called a Quran Youth Conference, Quran for Teens. That's what we've got coming up. It will also be free. It will also be sponsored by the #1 masajid in each of the areas we visit. We're contacting some of the masajid right now. If you want your masjid, if you want your area to sponsor, to be a part of this, this is a conference we're going to take nationwide. We're going to be in the New York area, New York or New Jersey. We're going to be up in that area, inshallah. Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston, or both. We're going to see how that goes. The West Coast, we're talking San Francisco, Los Angeles. We want to bring Guidance TV there, and we want to bring the Muslims in together. We want to bring non-Muslims along with us, and we want people to get a picture of real workable Islam, the doable Islam, the workable Islam that is in the Quran itself. And we are going to be giving out these right and left. Everywhere we go, we're going to be handing these out because we want people to know the meaning. There's no Arabic in here, by the way. This is just beautiful translation of the meanings. And if you said, well, it's not perfect, I already know it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Allah said in the Quran, the meaning that you will never bring anything like it. You can't bring something like the real Quran, but we give some ideas at least, get them out. If you said, well, it's only 85%, well, hey, that's a whole lot better than no percent, isn't it? Even if it was 50%, it'd be better than no percent, wouldn't it? So let's work on this and be positive about putting our hands together to get this out. We're going to be taking these with us because it's a Quran conference. But we'll also have the Arabic lessons. We're going to have teachers, scholars along with us, and some of them you already know, and some new ones we're going to be introducing to you. Some of our all-time scholars that we've had with us, some Americans that came to Islam like I did, only they're a lot smarter about Islam than me. But all of us together, we're going to be presenting this Quran Youth Conference. Washington, D.C. is actually where we want to get it started. Those of you who know that Sheikh Adam, he's working on this right now, the Somali scholar who has helped so many get to this beautiful understanding of recitation. He and so many others are going to be working with us. And you'll see as we progress along. What I'm asking you to do tonight is to make dua. I'm asking you to pray for us, because if Allah doesn't accept it, it wouldn't matter what we do, it will be ruined. And if Allah doesn't let us do it, we ask that He'll let us do something even better with our time, with our wealth, with our health. We started out talking about our health and our time and our wealth and our health. Yeah, I want now to remind us that this is something that we can do right this minute. Have your masjid, your administrator, your imam contact me. Ask them please to be in touch with me. You can do that so easy. You can, I'm going to give you a phone number right now that when we're live on the air, you can call this phone number, 1-800-409-5044. Let me tell you that phone number again so that you will have it. It's 1-800-409-5044. It's right here on the screen. You can see it for yourself. And if you want to call it right now, we have somebody ready to answer the phone, and we'll be happy to take your address and mail you one of these as a free sample of what we're doing. That's what we've got going on. I want you to pray for us that we can have this Quran conference for youth all over the United States. Chicago, we're looking at Chicago. St. Louis, that's a good proposition right there. Atlanta, Georgia. And then what about Orlando? What about Miami? We haven't been down there in a very long time. We want to get these communities to raise their hand and say, yes, we want to sponsor this. Bring it in. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. It will even help you raise the funds to make it happen. Guidance TV wants to put the Quran available for whoever wants it in the English language. We have a motto, keep it super simple, and that's what we want to do, and get guided with Guidance TV. Assalamu alaikum.